Thanks for joining us as we review a new movie that is still in the theaters, which is a little bit different for us. Other than Godzilla Minus One, we've been looking at all older films, but this is brand new. It came out the same time Godzilla Minus One did. We're talking about the movie The Shift, otherwise known as
The Devil's Got a Portal Gun and he wants to ruin my life.
Yes, indeed. So watch out, and before you get zapped into a parallel universe. We can give a firsthand account of this movie. It is a difficult and hard job to go to the movies and to watch them for you, to answer the question, is it worth it? And in one word, it pretty much is.
That's not one word.
I put hyphens in it.
That's cheating.
I'm an author. I can do that. And now we're going to tell you why it's pretty much is.
So
worth
cheating.
It. Yeah, well.
So cheating.
Yeah. In the Shift, Kevin Gardner's life takes an unexpected turn when he encounters a mysterious figure known as the Benefactor. When faced with an alluring offer of wealth, power, Kevin's refusal catapults him into alternate totalitarian realities. As he navigates infinite worlds and impossible choices, Kevin seeks to return to the woman he loves, unraveling a story that goes beyond boundaries of space and time. So I put out a poll, and I wish I would have done this earlier because there wasn't a whole lot of time for the poll, but I was glad to get the responses that I did. And the poll asked, vote for your favorite character / actor in the newly released movie, The Shift from Angel Studios. Now, we see who got number. Now,
that's my vote.
The problem with this is a sleeper of a movie. So in terms of, not that it's boring, I'm not saying that, but it was released and not a whole lot of people knew about this movie. And so putting this poll out last minute like this, I really didn't expect much response, but I got a much better than I would have thought. And the poor main actor just did not get the love.
Nothing. He got nothing.
Kristoffer Polaha, I think that's how you pronounce his last name, just didn't get any votes at all. And The Devil came out number one. Look at this, man.
I just think he's an unknown actor that not a lot of people know.
What? You're not talking about The Devil, right?
No.
Oh, okay.
Main character.
Neal McDonough. He is, you probably recognize him from several other movies. And then you've got Elizabeth Tibet. I'm trying to read these names, very small on the screen for me. I'm sorry. You probably saw her if you saw The Chosen. She's a main and returning actress in The Chosen, so she was good. And also Sean Astin. I'll carry it for you, Mr. Frodo. Really, I will. Samwise Gamgee fame. So I think maybe he got those votes because they wanted to see poor Samwise Gamgee come back.
I was actually surprised by how many Angel Studios, being a smaller studio, how many huge characters they really did, how many good actors they had in this.
Yeah. I was so tell me, give me your overall rating from 1 to 10. What you thought of the movie?
Because this is very Christ focused, I have to split this into two different types of ratings because this is a completely different beast than what we've done before. So you've got the main message they're trying to get across, and I would definitely give that a 10 all in all. I thought they were good on their presentation as far as giving the message out and the content of the message. As far as the movie itself, standalone movie, not looking at the message, I'd give it probably an 8. There were some sections in there that I found to be slow, some stretches of course, the just accepting it that I think it needed to be done. But
okay. I would also give it either a 7.5 or 8 out of 10. overall. But for other reasons I'll explain down below, I would boost it up to a 9, 9.5, and verging on. But I would say it's a must see.
Oh yeah.
If you get a chance to see it, do see it. I just like the poor Kristoffer is not getting the love here. I think we need to show this movie a lot of support and do it because the message, I think, is timely. I think a lot of people need to see it. So, good stuff. And we'll go for that later.
Gets me definitely this month. It's been enjoyable again. It's going to the movies again because I haven't been doing that forever. And I used to do it all the time with my wife. And we were finally able to sit down and watch movies and not feel like I'm getting preached to the entire time, or at least having good messages in the movies again.
Okay, so let me just put a comment right there and maybe address something. So we have movies with a woke agenda that have been really just boom, 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 boom. And the problem with putting a message into a movie like that, whatever the message is, that it supplants or pushes down the story. So the story becomes secondary, becomes subservient to whatever message is being brought out there, besides not really liking the message at all. Here you have a message that you like. Did the message in the story push down or supplant the plot?
Well, real quick, before I answer that, I would say that is one of the biggest weaknesses of a lot of Christian films, a lot of Christian movies, is the message, even though it's a good message, it's a great message, becomes centermost and the story becomes second.
It ruins the story.
It basically ruins the story in order to get the message out there, and it ends up not being a good movie. I'd say no in this case. I think that they did a great balance.
I would agree. I think the message is the plot, and it's not the typical Romans Road type of thing for the message. It is the story of Job that just gets beaten down, and it's a test to see how he'll do, and he comes across basically the devil. Theologically, everything doesn't work, but it's the main confrontation, and that confrontation itself, which is the struggle, that's really where the movie shines, where you have that, and that is why we see the vote go for the devil himself here.
Well, he's a great actor
because he
does a great villain.
The acting on his part is good. I think what he does really good is that and this is all spoiler-free territory. We'll get to spoiler stuff later, but he just has this ability to look like he's holding back and being very pleasant and very good and just boiling underneath, and then just you say the wrong word and just snap, and just venomous, evil malevolence is behind a pretty face. Not that I think he's attractive or anything, but he comes out of being this pleasant guy that you would just love to have as a benefactor, and not the case. So I think they did a really good job with that.
I think the only disadvantage of using that actor in any movie is I'm just instantly going to assume that that's a bad guy.
Right.
And if there is ever a time that he's not the bad villain, I don't know if I'd like the movie.
I don't know. I'm not sure. I'd have to go back and see how many movies he's actually the villain in. But yeah, I think the ones that I've
TV series, there's a couple that I can think of. He does such a good villain in all of them. It's like, man, you just love to dislike this.
That's true.
Actor.
It's good to have a character that you love to hate, and
definitely when he's playing the devil.
Yes.
So.
All right. So is this for all audiences? Now that we've rated the devil as the best character in this movie, the benefactor.
Oh boy,
the benefactor. Don't call him a liar. The answer for is this for all audience? Meaning, what is the PG? Is this PG? Is it PG-13? Is it R? Is it G? How would you rate this for audiences?
I'd say still be discerning, just like with all the other ones we've done. I wouldn't say this for younger people. There is violence, there is shooting, there
some
is
themes there that are more adult themes that you would need.
Yeah, there's death in this one, so
yeah.
Yeah.
So no nudity or for profanity. It's PG rated for violence and thematic elements that are in there. Guns, there's blood, and intense scenes. So yeah.
No sex, no nudity, which is normally the one I most pay attention to because I find those to be more damaging.
Yeah. So we see how did this do in the theater? Now I want to do something a little bit different this time, and I want to look at actually box office returns. We don't usually do that.
Yeah.
But this is more of an independent film. And although it's Angel Studios, it's not technically independent, it's a small studio and hitting the screens. Now, it just hit domestically. From what I understand, I didn't see any stats for international, so I'm assuming it didn't go international. But it did very well for a movie that had a budget of a small budget. And the budget was $6.4 million. And I want to compare the budget for The Shift for a much, much, much larger film, and that was The Marvels. So you have $6.4 million for The Shift, $274.8 million for The Marvels, and that's 43 times larger. The budget is huge.
Just think of that for a second. So the Shift, looking back through it, all in all, I thought it was very well done, very well written. As far as the CGI and all that stuff, I thought it was pretty good. I mean, it didn't look extremely cheesy.
No.
The costumes didn't look cheap.
No.
They looked good. They were placed correctly. Yeah, the music was well picked. I'm just thinking of anything that they would have invested money into. And I'm thinking this does not look like a cheap film.
No, it doesn't. When I say it was lower budget, I'm not saying cheap. It doesn't look like,
Well, I just want to know where all the money goes for Marvels.
That's a good question.
Because you look at that, it's like, okay.
Yeah, huge amount. So the domestic opening was $4.3 million for The Shift, which is 67% of the total budget. The Marvels, and we all know, was pretty much a flop when it came out. $46.1 million, 17%. Now, I'm only looking at the domestic opening because I'm do apples to apples. That's all that The Shift has, as far as I can see, is domestic. So just comparing domestic, 4.6 million, 17% for the Marvels. Now, the Marvels did get more money because they had international sales as well that really helped boost that up. But
I don't know,
just
break even.
I don't think they did. I didn't really look at that too far. But so I want to compare that to another movie that we've done recently, and that is wrong one, Godzilla -1. So here, 15 million budget. Again, twice as much, more than twice as much as The Shift. But really, they must have done well with their budget because there's a whole lot of CGI and special effects in that one.
Oh yeah, that's
and 11.4 million for the domestic, which is 76%. Again, obviously,
not worldwide, just domestic.
That's just domestic, and obviously they were also worldwide selling. And I didn't know if the domestic was actually domestic US or was domestic Japan, since it's a Japanese movie, and I'm assuming this is. Box Office Mojo is where I got the stats from. Anyway, the main point is you can see how much they cleared percentage-wise domestically. Now, I don't know breaking even how the box opening for the first really matters. How much do you get for the opening weekend compared to the rest? Does it really tail off? Does it really drop off precipitously? I'm thinking not, and this is the reason why. I don't think a lot of people have heard about this movie.
Are you talking about? You're talking about specifically The Shift.
I'm talking about The Shift.
Other movies.
I'm sorry. I'm talking about The Shift. I think it could catch on just like The Sound of Freedom did, and that was another. That wasn't that Angel Studios.
That was Angel Studios,
too.
and that's another really good movie. And they blew again. Everything coming out of Angel Studios so far has been,
I think it's been pretty
an
good.
excellent movie. Definitely, both of those. I think both of those came out this year.
And The Chosen too. So we have,
everything coming out of Angel Studios has been top 10, no question.
So I want to show some. Talk about the characters in the story. So we have Kristoffer Polaha as Kevin Garner. Now he's the main character. He's the guy that gets trapped, gets taken away from his wife and everything, and then faces, and he's looking at him right now, the Benefactor. So this is his wife who he gets taken away from. This is Elizabeth Tavish as Molly. That's his wife. Know her as Mary in The Chosen. And then the guy everybody loves to hate, Kristoffer McDonough, the Benefactor himself, who is, really the devil. And then we've got Sean Astin, plays as Gabriel.
Samwise Gamgee.
Okay. We're going to outgrow that one, but yes.
Never. I was a kid growing up. That's who he was when I was growing up.
And then Paras Patel. Now, as it plays as Rajit in the movie, you might know him as Matthew, and he was a surprise.
Completely different character.
I did not know he was in here. And then we have Russo, the cat-loving theater operator, played by John Billingsley. Now, you may not recognize him, but you would probably recognize his voice as the Doctor on the TV series, the Star Trek Enterprise. May not recognize his face directly because there's some
lots of makeup.
The prosthetics they have for him as an alien, but he does play on there as well. And there's more actors. We're not going to go through the whole cast right here, but I thought that was worthwhile mentioning.
Again, those are some heavy-hitting actors for that sort of level of budget.
I want to go over some things we liked and didn't like. This is spoiler-free. We haven't hit the spoiler territory yet. And again, I would strongly encourage you, if you got the chance, check it out, especially if you like sci-fi, and especially if you like romance, because that was there too. Romance was a big part of the drive of the movie, which is not a big drive for me. For movies, real life, my wife, yes, but so you got something for the general female audience with the romance, and for the guys
with the sci-fi action.
Sci-fi action.
And it didn't feel like the romance was overwhelming.
No, it's just a drive. He just wanted to get back to his wife. He
wanted to get back to his wife. He was a husband who was willing to do what he needed to do to get back to his wife.
Right. And I don't want to say anything more because of spoilers there. So the things that we liked. I liked the strong family connections that were in there, and there was sex after marriage. Didn't show it, but I mean, they had, it was clear that this was a really good family. They had their squabbles, and that gets into the movie too. But that was good. What else did you like about it?
Overall, again, coming up Angel Studios, this was great. The family dynamic, seeing that again. So coming right off of Godzilla, which again was family dynamic, holding that up as the ideal husband, wife, children, and then again seeing that a second time here, family dynamic, husband, wife, aspect of it was great. It's really refreshing to see this and to see a God-driven film like this.
Okay, it was good at showing the conflict between man and Satan. I think that was probably the strongest point, but weak in world building and character development. The battle between the two, and a lot of times there's a good stretch where the Benefactor, you don't see him, but you see the evidence of what he's done, and he's always just, you never know when he's going to pop up. And then again, I said before that I would give it a higher rating. I gave it like a 7.5 or 8, but I would give it a 9+ because it's cutting edge faith-based movie that does not smell like a church or like a typical Christian movie. It was a sci-fi romantic thriller loosely based on the story of Job. And there are some quotes in Job. I say loosely because there are, you have this specific Job and his friends, which are the main bulk of the book of Job. And by the way, if you see J-O-B, looks like Job, pronounced Job. Probably one of the oldest books in the Bible. And he talks to his friends back and forth, and his friends are basically saying, dude, you're just like, you did it. You must have done something bad because all these bad things are happening to you. But you don't have that contest in here. You have what Kevin himself, the struggle that he has. So I'm going to, anything in here? Wow. Hey, should I bring up any of the comments here before we move on?
I don't think so yet.
Okay. Well, hold off.
Want to let you guys know, if you are looking at doing this movie, do be aware that if you can't afford to go watch it, there is a pay forward program that Angel Studios provides. They did the same thing for The Sound of Freedom, where you can pay forward, pay for someone else's tickets to go see it. And if you can't financially go see it yourself, you can go apply for that. It's a pretty easy process to go through. They really do not want any reason why you shouldn't be able to go watch this movie.
And if I remember, I will put that in the description. I didn't do it yet, but I was planning to. I'll put that link in the description of this video.
And that's a really different way, because again, that's the focus of them wanting to get out the message of Christ more than they just want to sell tickets.
I think they're getting the message of the devil out on this.
Well, it's still the Christian-based message.
Okay, anything else you want to add before we go into spoiler territory?
Not really. Other than go watch this. This is definitely worth your time, worth the investment. Again, watching both this and Godzilla, both of these coming out this month, has been really enjoyable. Having two movies right away, boom, boom.
Okay.
With decent message. Well, one having a decent message, one having a great message in it.
I'm gonna just for the
Good
fun of
morning.
it, I'm gonna just put up a couple of these before we move on, because we're gonna head into territory, spoiler territory, people. And I just want to give you a heads up that we are now going into this. So if you haven't seen this movie and you don't want it spoiled, see ya. Okay. Warning made. So he and his wife, I thought that was pretty good. Things we liked and things that we don't. Things that we like section. If you are willing, at the end, when there's a confrontation that he has with the enemy, with this guy, if you are willing to lose your life for Christ's sake, that's when you'll get it. I think that was a big theme that was in here. Behind the scenes, you really don't see that a whole lot.
Yeah, the message wasn't in your face.
It wasn't in your face, but he's a very giving guy. He's very, and boy, when you got that contest at the end, of course you're pulling for him. And I would kick his freaking butt if he didn't make the right choice there. But
go
yeah.
all the way and make the finally make the wrong choice at the end. Oh, that would have been terribly disappointing.
Yeah. Another thing I liked that is you see him hitting his knees a lot. In other words, he's praying. And another thing, I'm just going to go through a few things here. I'll hand it over to you. Kevin's child went where the devil couldn't touch him, and that irritated the benefactor. This is another example.
Oh, it's funny. Again, that actor's so good being
Neal.
irritated.
Yeah.
Being like, I can't do anything about it. And he's
fine.
Very good, frustrated character. And it's always like funny to see that.
I get irritated being called a liar. It says, that's the second time you called me that. It's like, dude, that was like 5 years ago. But yeah.
Yeah, it sticks in his
That was good. What else would you say that you liked? It's spoiler section, of course.
I enjoyed the praying scene.
The what scene?
The praying scene.
Oh, yeah.
The first one.
Oh, yeah.
Where the devil's playing off his, oh, why are you doing that? I mean, what good's that going to do? What, are you really still doing that? I mean, seriously, it's so silly. It's stop it. And then you actually see, yes, they're not there. That you actually see that frustration come through, which was very interesting to see, and I thought funny.
That was good.
That, and of course, going to the end, the end is very much like Job in a lot of ways, where yes, he is restored, but it's not the same exact thing. It's not like you got a reboot to the beginning and, oh, look, you got everything. It all was a dream in the end. No, this had consequences.
Yeah, that's a good point. That it was not just a dream where you come back and as a viewer or as a reader, you feel cheated because that whole experience you had really didn't make any difference. This did make a difference. He wasn't able to get back to his original wife. Now, remember, this is multiverse situation where you have all these, like, I don't know how many. Are there 40 versions of him or 40 billion? We don't really know.
It sounded like more on the 40 billion side.
Yeah. So his original, what looked like may have been his original wife, she had already moved on, remarried, and she said, she can't really get back with him. And so he was able to connect with that other woman. I think that was a little confusing to me. I wasn't sure exactly who it was. And I had to talk to my wife about it. I said, well, which he got back with his original wife? No. And then she said, no, she corrected me and said, no.
No, it was one of the wives that he viewed.
Yeah.
In there.
The one that didn't have a husband.
Oh, look, she's a nurse and she has a kid already.
Yeah, she has need because she has his daughter. She needs help with taking care of him. So, and then they had their own son together. So that was a good wrap up, I think, for it. Any of the negative things?
Negative things, I would say this movie struggled with pacing. All in all, again, really cool animation, character development. I mean, you showed the picture there. Perfect setting wise, as far as dystopia feeling. Again, they did, for being on such a tight budget, they did a great job. Yeah. Definitely when compared to the Marvels being like, oh shoot, look at this. Look at all these cheap suits and how cheesy this stuff looks. And then you go to a smaller budget film and they got like top notch everything.
Yeah.
It's like, guys, someone's doing something wrong. But as far as things that, again, I didn't like about it, I'd say the pacing was the biggest thing that took me out of it, because it's fast paced at the beginning. The character, you really pull for the character. The character is owning it. He's awesome. And then it gets slow. And I think that they were trying to show some things through it. And I don't think it worked well as a movie. I
would say there was a part. Now, again, if you're just joining us, this is a spoiler section. We have done the earlier part of the review where we talked about in generalities. We're hitting a spoiler section. So if you have not seen this movie, and we highly, highly, highly encourage you to go see it, you're going to kind of ruin it for yourself here. So the multiverse rules, I think, were confusing. And I think that's where you're talking about the boring part, where there's the middle got a little bit muddled.
No, I just mean when he's there doing the work and it's like it's sort of hee-hawing around, just going from day to day. Normally you have that at the beginning.
Yeah.
But you did not have that in this case.
No. Okay, so the video, that part, I did not understand what the rules for the multiverse were. And I think the movie could have been strengthened if there were some more indication about what that was, because then we would know a little bit better how he was trapped and figure out how to get out. We were given, of course, the bracelets and the guys that were selected to do that. And then we have the whole thing where the devil's trying to recruit him to be one of them. But the video thing, then there's another thing that was a little confusing for me. The video in the theater where they would go in and they would see sections of other multiverses, other realities, other timelines. I thought that was pretty interesting. How they were able to do that, never explained. This is okay. No, but for me as a technical guy, I would like to know a little bit more about that. But it seemed at first like he was being pulled into almost like a pornographic theater. It's like he felt the draw to go check it out out of curiosity or whatever. And he was staying away from it. Then finally he does go in. I thought that was going to be like a trap of
the enemy or something like that.
The Benefactor to pull him into it.
I think originally it was supposed to be satisfaction. You're seeing yourself in other universes, and it's supposed to be like a way to dull your senses or to even see the violence that's going on in other universes. He referred to as that. Some of them were referring to when they go to jail. Right. So the theater owner was talking about this, right?
Yeah. And he was saying that people were wanting to do this, and it's becoming worse and worse and worse because They're wanting to see more violence, more destruction, more
death, more. Yeah.
And so it seemed like it would have been, but I guess for Kristoffer, he was using it as a way to try to reconnect with his wife. He was using that as a tool. So that part was good.
And I guess that goes to the example of counting on what you're using tools for determines if they're good or bad, such as movies.
Right.
What the purpose of using that movie is comes out as being good or bad.
Okay. So we usually go over a section at the end of our reviews to talk about what hidden Christian themes are there in a movie? What things can we draw out to be able to use as conversation devices with other people, as a point of pointing them towards Christ, or things that are eternal. So in this movie, obviously that's a little bit, it's more, they're not hidden Christian themes. They're out there.
Yes, very much so.
And so just pull a couple of these out because that's the point of what we're doing this for. It showed God is there, even though it doesn't seem like he's around.
Yeah.
You are in the middle of this dystopian, terrible, awful place where it's a police state, a 1984 type of experience. And even in that,
literally ruled by the devil.
Yes.
Literally ruled by the devil.
Yes. And even in that, you see hope. You see where God is working. And that was a really good message. I thought that was something that could be pulled out. And they did a really good rendition of Satan as a deceiver. But it didn't show how God limited Satan.
No, again, you're seeing this from Job's point of view, not from
That's true.
The overall point of view. The story of Job, you get more of sort of the step back, God's perspective. You hear what Satan's doing behind the scenes, how he wants to do the temptations, where he was limited, where he was allowed to go. You hear that aspect in Job, but you do not see that. Like I said, the section where it's slower, in the middle section, you're not terribly sure what the devil's doing, or what God's doing, or anything. And again, I guess that does represent real life in many aspects, because there are times in your life that you're there, you're praying, you're seeking God, but you're not really seeing him move. And there's other aspects of your life that you're seeing boom, 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 boom. Oh my goodness, my head's spinning.
Right.
So yeah, I thought they did, at least showing that aspect of life, they did a good job on.
They did. It was unclear. Now, so the theology in this, as far as the demonology and everything like that goes, is not really scriptural. It is in terms of the kind of deception and the absolute hatred that the enemy has for us and for God. That was very clearly demonstrated in this movie, and I thought it was spectacular for that. But you can't really hold their feet to the fire and say you got to have everything right theologically on this, because it was a sort of alternate reality type of thing.
Yeah, and this is something that is more, again, I wouldn't want them to necessarily try to take the story of Job, copy, paste it, and try to force it into a sort of science fiction-y film. I think that would have lessened the movie all in all as far as the quality goes, and would have lent itself more to the typical, the message overrides the story. So
what I was saying was that it is not so much a theological statement. So some of the theology and the demonology is incorrect. There's no mention of demons in here. You just have the devil who's trying to recruit people to be with him, and that part is true. But there's no multiverse in Christian theology. Although I have it in my writing and stuff like that, it's more of a what if, a speculative type of fiction. It's appointed once for a man to die, and after that's judgment. You don't have multiple versions of yourself, but it's a fun thing to consider and say, what if we were in these different situations? What would happen? So, any other comments before we start to wrap it up?
No, I think it's very good. The chat's definitely popping right now. We got Servant of Christ is in the chat listening.
Yeah, I saw that.
While I drive. So drive, do not text,
do not look.
Message.
Oh, wow, we're going to show this scene right now. Don't look. Okay, so then
talking about temptation.
Yeah, that's right. Don't listen to me. I'm the benefactor. So from Adam, we've got, I don't mind too much when movies slow down, but moving too fast to develop things really pulls me out of the story. I think so. So we were having this discussion beforehand about any of the slow parts that might have been in the middle, and you were saying what, that it helps develop the story.
It was trying to put the audience in the place of the main character, because they were trying to show where you have a slow part in life and you're not hearing from God, but he's still pressing, he's still persevering through that. I don't think translates very well to the screen in this case.
Right, because you don't want you want to show that he's in this place that's hopeless and boring, but you don't want the audience to feel like they're bored. So it's a very difficult thing.
It's a very difficult balance. Again, most movies would have that at the beginning of the movie. You would have him try and find himself. He finds himself, and then he confronts the enemy, as he did in the beginning of the film, and he owns it, and he's, victorious. What they had was victory, slow victory.
Okay, so Adam brings up another really, really, really good point here. He says, it's always hard to find a way to explain rules without the hilariously obvious exposition.
Yes.
Yes. And this is okay, so as an author, well, we call this an info dump. I don't know if that's in regular parlance or not. And so in world building, in either fantasy, science fiction, or science fiction, there's a lot of world building that goes on. And you want to be able to explain, you have to let the reader, or in this case, the viewer, know what the rules are without being, okay, well, Bob, we've been doing this for 40 years, but now I'm going to explain to you how this is done. And whatever kind of info dump that's going on there, it's a struggle to be able to do that. And but there are creative ways that can be done to do that. And I wish they would have done that a little bit more in this movie. Okay, so I'm going to put this one up here. I'm sure Nicodemus, who I know, I wouldn't say know well, but who I've seen quite a bit. He says, "I'm sure you've already covered this, but which venue is this movie released?" Oh, no, we have not covered this. So I was able to find it in a local theater. You were able to find it in a local theater.
Yep.
Okay. So Cinemark is showing this, and this is in our in my area, in more of a rural place. But
it seems to be normal release. It seems to be pretty common.
Yeah, this was released December 1st with Godzilla. Here's the hard part. I didn't even know this movie was out there until you had mentioned it to me, and you had seen it from whom?
What do you mean? John.
Okay. John.
The other John.
The other John.
The other John. John McCrae.
On his channel, What Do You Mean? He's another apologist. He had done a review on it, and I think he had actually gone to the opening,
the red carpet,
whole
shindig thing.
I don't know how you raped their brother, but you did pretty good. So that was pretty cool, and we heard about that. And like I say, it's a bit of a sleeper, almost like their other release, Sound of Freedom. I'm glad that got out there to be known. So
yeah, I think all in all, we went through the box office opening and how much money it's made so far. I think all in all, it's suffered. I think the biggest thing that this movie has suffered on is the advertising aspect of it, where
I think they could use some more marketing for this. I know their budget is limited. They're a smaller studio, so there's only so much they can do. But I did see it in regular theaters, so that is good.
And again, everything that's come out of Angel Studios has been gold. as far as I'm considered.
Yeah.
Each one has been a hit.
Yeah, for The Chosen, I was really being critical for the first couple seasons, and still am, because that's such a touchy subject.
Oh, I didn't even watch The Chosen for years until it's already been out for quite a while, and then I binged the entire thing because I was extremely concerned.
I did not see any problems with it. There might be some things where you look at, so that the ethnic diversity they have in there is over the top. But other than that, I don't think that I don't think there's any issues with it. But that's a comment for another one.
Yeah.
And I think I just want to be really careful about the comment section here, since this is a live stream and you see all our mistakes, all our foibles, and I look at this and I cringe after viewing one of these things. I said, oh man, why did I do that? But I love getting the interaction from you guys. Any last comments? I can't try to encourage you guys enough on what going to see this movie. So showing one of the actors in here, you'll see him again. Tomorrow, I'm going to be going over why did Jewish disciples who spoke Hebrew and Aramaic and Greek, why did they decide to write the New Testament in Greek? And hope to see you there for that one. It's been enjoyable, and until next time.